Doesn't get no easier for us. We're heading to Memphis now. Those who have followed Memphis knows that Memphis is one of the better teams in the country. Last night's game, I thought that St. Louis could make it interesting for them at Memphis, even because St. Louis is a veteran team, a really good team, but Memphis handled them pretty easy. Memphis is really talented. They score at basketball a lot of different ways. They got a big boy on the inside that's one of the better players in the country, and they've got multiple guys in that perimeter that can dribble, pass it, and shoot it. So it'll be a big challenge for us, but at the same time, it's a great opportunity.
Coach, obviously, didn't get off to the start in those last two games that you wanted to. I know Memphis, through the first two games, hadn't thrilled at all. Like you said, big win against St. Louis. What's it going to take to try to get off to a better start on the road and get some?
Well, you need to get off to a better start. You're going to be in their home environment now. So it's not a neutral site game. It's their home environment. So, it's very obvious. We hadn't scored the basketball as well early, consistently as we would like to. We've been in the 20s those last two games and in the 30s and 40s the second half. So it's a fine line. We can't get into a run and fire it up with Memphis on their home court. They just got too many weapons. At the same time, we've got to be able to try to score early some if we can, because they're going to press you. But then we've got to be able to control that game a little bit offensively if we can. They're really good defensively. But you got to be able to control the game some offensively. We didn't do a very good job of that, particularly the first game against South Carolina. We were better against first game against Minnesota. We were better against South Carolina in that second game, and South Carolina they're a really, really good defensive team too. So those are big keys, and whenever you can make some shots, you need to make some shots on the road to give yourself a chance.
Coach, when you look at Jalen Duren, Imani Bates, they're turning a lot of heads right now, not just in Memphis, but nationally. One of them being Gatorade National Player of the Year last year. How tough is it going to be to stop those guys down low and whatever they spread around the perimeter?
When you ask me that after the game, I'll give you an exact answer to that. But watching them on film and watching them last night, that's why they are who they were, number one, number two player in that class, and one of the better players in America. He's a load. Big boys averaging 5+ block shots a game. He's farther along than I anticipated. I've watched him on film now. He's physically 250. He moves. He catches stuff. He's got a quick core about him off that floor. He's a load. And Bates is just playing, much better than everybody anticipated too. Averaging about 16 a game, shooting it better. They do a lot of stuff to isolate him. He's got great size. But I think the biggest thing is he's shooting the basketball better. So when you add all those other pieces around him, guys who have shot the basketball last year and who can shoot it. I had a kid come off the bench last night who used to play there, transferred out and transferred back to Harris kid. I think played for Penny probably his senior year in high school. I think he made 4 threes last night, and he's always been a capable shooter. First couple games, he really couldn't find his way out there to get enough minutes, but last night he did. So they got multiple weapons. Besides those two really good players, Nolly, they just got multiple weapons coming off that bench still.
Having played Memphis last year in the Bad Boy North Classic and beating them, obviously your team and their team were much different last year from this year. But what do you learn from that game last year, and how do you apply that to this game this Friday?
Well, like you said, they're both two different teams. They didn't have those two number 1 and 2 players in the country, and we don't have a couple guys that we had last year. So everybody's different a little bit. I think they're probably trying to play the same way, though. They're trying to press you and get up into you and all that. I think the biggest thing about them this time this year versus last year, They're so much better offensively. You know, they struggled a little bit offensively last year. If it wasn't for Boogie jumping up making some shots, they seem to struggle a little bit. They're not struggling right now offensively, averaging about 90 points a game, shooting 55% in the field. Probably if you look at them, there's only one area I'm sure Penny's wanting to improve on, and that's probably the turnovers. I think they're turning it over about 23, 24 times a game, but they're still shooting 55% in the field. I'd say averaging about 13 block shots a game. So different kind of teams, still trying to do the same things, probably doing it with better players now than they were.
You talked about the Asheville Invitational. With Minnesota, shooting was a struggle. Then against South Carolina was rebounding. I know you touched on that, but specifically this week, what have you guys been working on in practice to make sure that those numbers improve before Memphis?
Well, you know, the rebounding against South Carolina, I thought our guys, we fought now. You know, defensive rebounds, you're not going to get them. That means you got to score more, so the separation ain't so much on defensive rebound. But the offensive rebound part of it, and we were the best we'd been. I came out of that game proud of the way our guys battled and fought against those big guys. When you miss a bunch of shots, it's going to be more defensive rebounds come off. That's where the separation was in the rebounding. You know, we're just continuing trying to get better in all those areas. We got to get better offensively. You know, as I've said, we got to continue to find ways to score more around that block. You know, we can't depend on a jump shot consistently. We can't depend on driving in there consistently. We have to get some baskets around that block thrown in there. So, you know, we have confidence in Jalen to do that. And, you know, with Jamar, a big guy, you know, we know that's not his strength in there yet. That's not who he is. But we still got to find ways to make him put pressure on that rim with his size if it's not his strength. So those are some areas we got to get better at right there.
Coach, you guys over the weekend played 2 Power 5 opponents. You went Memphis, which is a top-ranked team. I mean, how is it to build the character of this team playing such tough opponents early?
Well, again, hey, it's easy to go out and put a schedule together and be 3-0 and look at some stats. You may be asking me a question, man, Coach, y'all really moved the ball and shared the ball and had a bunch of assists and you shot it great. That's all good, you know, but does that really, you know, find out who you are and make you better? Well, it doesn't. I mean, it's competition right here. You find out a whole lot more about your team. You find out a whole lot more, some weaknesses that you have and things you got to get better at. You know, naturally, we want to win every game. But I keep things in perspective. I know where we're at, and I know where we're at with scheduling. And, you know, we do this for a reason and for a purpose. And, you know, there's not many people volunteer to go to Memphis. It ain't happening very often. Well, I look forward to that challenge, look forward to the opportunity, you know, whatever that outcome is. I look forward to it, and our guys will be ready for it. And it will make us better. It will make us better. Win or lose, it's going to make us better. And that's what we're looking for right now. Continue to get better. Find some things we don't do as well, and let's work on them now. You know, some things got exposed this last weekend that allows us to work on some things this week. If you get, you know, if you're not getting exposed any, maybe you're not working on some things that you got some weaknesses with. So, like I said, you know, we're all disappointed we didn't win both games, but I took away a lot of positive things from last weekend, understanding, you know, where our roster is with a couple guys, and whatever happened to Cam is not fair to him. Anything we got or didn't get from him that last game, you know, we all know what he had been doing and all that. And, you know, like he told me yesterday, he says, Coach, I probably heard us more than I helped us. I said, nah, you helped us just being out there. You'll get better through all this other stuff. Don't worry about that. So there'll be some positive things come from that, just getting him back. So he'll be much better this next game, too.
You know, Coach, kind of going off of the schedule, and it sounds like Memphis has been a team that you guys have wanted to play for, you know, get on the schedule for some years now. You finally got them last year because they were in the same tournament, I guess. What was how did they end up on the schedule this year before becoming that? Well,
it's kind of a little surprising, to be honest with you, because you all know how hard it is for us to schedule. And Zach he can tell you that more than anybody. He's probably called, no, he has. He's called every Power 5 team in the country. somewhere, some point in time in scheduling, he's called every one of them. And there's just not many takers, whatever reason. Last year we backed into Alabama. That was a COVID back into. We got like I said, Memphis, we got a West Virginia up there in that tournament. We were kind of a little bit surprised Memphis would play another game this year. But give them credit. Give them credit. Penny's didn't dodge anything. He wanted the opportunity to play us again, and I don't know the details how it came about. It was a little bit late, probably. It was in, middle August, late August, September. That's probably when you get these kind of games more than ever, because nobody else was going to go in there. And we got them before they got those two juniors too. So, if they had those two juniors, may not answer that phone call. No, we would have taken on the challenge, because it's a great opportunity for us, and it'll make our team better.
Coach, you're outscored 26-5 and bench points. How do you go about getting more production?
Well, I think we'll be better there as Cam gets some more experience right there, and as Jamar continues to better. I mean, they didn't score much the other night, but they're capable of getting us some points off that bench, and hopefully moving forward somewhere along the way we get a Keith back, so that gives us some more depth and more personnel there a little bit. So, but we need more production right there. We need more, and we can get more. I have confidence in Jamar. I have confidence in Cam, and we all know that Sherm's capable of making shots. Going to be some nights better than others. I know maybe the first game, exhibition game, I think Jamar had 10 or 12 or 14. Probably not going to get those kind of numbers every night. Maybe some nights better than others. But we need him to be able to give us something. I've got to help him. It's got to help him continue to find ways to put some pressure on that rim, and get some easier baskets. And it ain't going to be with strength. We all know he can ball screen and dive and roll and all that, but we got to get him something there with his size. And I got to do a better job helping him get some of that.
Coach, I know you talked about Cam a little bit, and we talked about what he brings to the team, but how did he end up, getting that extra year of eligibility? How did you guys realize that was kind of, an option that you might have?
Well, believe it or not, we started the option his last year. I think February of the last year. We started that paperwork then when he was still playing. Because we really felt like he had another year, because he only played 6 or 7 games at Vanderbilt. But when COVID hit, it just shut down everything. We didn't even know we'd have a season. We didn't know what was going on in August. He didn't know at that point in August. We really can't get it. He doesn't know there's going to be a season, and basically he went to work in the real world for a year. And after last year and got back in here this summer, we still realize you still got that year. If they haven't given us that COVID year, then probably he wouldn't have gotten it back. But because they did, he was counting on the same time frame he was the year before. So we just gathered a bunch of paperwork up, and that wasn't easy. He's been at Vanderbilt. That's 4 or 5 years ago. So a lot of change over there, and coaches and trainers and everybody. So that was a long, drawn-out situation. But John McCammon, our compliance guy, did a good job with it. It all drug out longer than we all anticipated. Naturally, he set his wedding date before he knew we had a chance to get this year. That wedding date was set last spring, because if he knew there was a chance to get it back this year, he would have for sure changed that date. But once he had that date set and got down that road pretty good, couldn't back out that date very well.
Anything else for Coach?
Any more?